Jordan Walker's struggles at the plate continue, and manager Marmol and hitting coach Brant have spoke out on what they need to see from him moving forward if he's going to succeed at the major league level.
You are Locked On Cardinals, your daily St. Louis Cardinals podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey there, Cardinals fans. I'm JD Hafron, and I'm your host for Locked On Cardinals, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, covering your team every day. If you haven't already, give us a follow on X at JD Sports Radio, as well as the podcast at LO_Cardinals. We're on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram at Locked On Cardinals, so you can find us just about anywhere. This is a show serving Cardinal Nation and giving you all the best info about the birds on the bat. Today's episode brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. So the St. Louis Cardinals won another ball game last night behind another solid start from, hold on, checking notes, Miles Mikolas? What? That's right. That's right. I was as shocked as everyone else. Pleasantly surprised, though. It's not like I ever root for Miles Mikolas or any of the Cardinals to fail. That's not my purpose. I'm pleasantly surprised, though, that Mikolas pitched as well as he did. We're going to talk about that game here in a little bit. But because of where the Cardinals are, which is currently 69-71, wallowing in fourth place in the NL Central, winning a baseball game is actually not the biggest story on this Wednesday, September the 3rd. The big story is the talk surrounding Jordan Walker, recent comments from his hitting coach Brant and manager Marmol about the struggles that Jordan Walker is enduring right now. Now, multiple stories came out about this all at once. Derek Gold from the Post-Dispatch, Katie Wu at The Athletic, John Denton from MLB.com. Full credit to all of these guys for getting the quotes and getting the information. We're going to be picking pieces from all of them because they all do great work. So if you don't follow those people, you really should. So check out their stories if you get a chance. Now, ever since Jordan Walker was taken in the first round by the Cardinals back in 2020, there had been expectations of him. And that happens with all first-round picks. Organizations and fan bases expect a first-round pick, no matter what sport it is, to become an impact player, to become an impact guy, a pillar that they can build around. And when that doesn't happen, the scrutiny and backlash is going to be huge. Why did you pick this guy? He sucks. How did you fall for that? Most of these people don't suck in high school or college when they get drafted. Busts in sports happen all the time. In the NFL, you've got, quarterbacks that get taken too high. Jamarcus Russell, number 1 overall. Ryan Leaf. The St. Louis Rams, when they were in town, took Lawrence Phillips. That didn't work out so well, did it? In the NBA, you've got guys like Kwame Brown, Anthony Bennett, Michael Olowokandi. Like, you remember these names? The NHL. How about Nail Yakupov? Remember him? Edmonton took him number 1 overall, ended up playing for the Blues for a short stint. But a huge bust. Now, Jordan wasn't a top 5 pick or anything like that. Selected, like 18th overall, somewhere in that vicinity. Might have been later than that, actually, now that I come to think of it. Jordan Walker, when was he selected? What pick was he? Let me double check. 21st overall in that draft. So, the expectations were, you're a first-round pick, but he was coming out of high school. So you knew it was going to take some time to develop, but his stock started to soar very early on in his career. By 2023, MLB Pipeline had him as their number 4 ranked player, not in the Cardinals organization, but overall in Major League Baseball. He was up there with Gunnar Henderson, who's become a star for the Orioles, Corbin Carroll, who's become a star for the Diamondbacks. He was ahead of guys like Anthony Volpe, Jackson Chourio, who's become a big deal for the Milwaukee Brewers. Ellie De La Cruz for the Reds, Pete Crow Armstrong for the Cubs. He was ahead of those guys. So needless to say, expectations, they were quite high on him, which is why seeing him struggle as much as he has still in 2025 it has tarnished the shine that once gleamed so brightly off of him. You know, some fans have already given up on him and are ready to punt and move on. They're saying cut your losses, ship him out while he's still got some trade value. I'm sure we got plenty of those people who will chime in the comments section that feel that way. They're like, don't let him be the next Dylan Carlson, where you waited too long, had all these expectations, and then when it finally flamed out completely, you didn't get anything for him. Didn't live up to all of the expectations that they had for Dylan Carlson. Was sent packing for a reliever to the Tampa Bay Rays, Sean Armstrong, that lasted a couple weeks before the club ended up releasing him. They don't want to see that happen. That makes them nervous. Others, like myself, I'm in the group where Jordan's still young. He's 23. I feel like it would be foolish to give up on him, to sell low on him, and to move him when his value is as low as it's been. And doing it on a team that, you know, it's not going anywhere right now. You know, what is the point of thinking about this now during this season? In the offseason, maybe it's something you consider. I think Chaim Bloom's got a lot of decisions to make about young guys on this team. But you know, as of today, nobody's expecting the Cardinals to make any sort of splash this offseason that would make anyone believe that this team will somehow become playoff relevant next year. So whether Jordan Walker is still working through his struggles or not, is it going to make that big of a difference for this team for 2026? Probably not. So I'm not ready to give up on him yet, though. I think there's still a lot of talent. You know, the Cardinals had a feeling that things were going to be mediocre this season anyway, at best, which is why we heard all that chatter about runways and figuring out what we've got in our own house and let the young guys play more. And the two guys that was really directed at was Nolan Gorman and Jordan Walker. Huge expectations for both of them coming up through the minors, both of them failing to make the impact that was expected of them at the major league level by now. Both of them showed great promise early on in their careers. You know, Gorman hit 27 home runs in 119 games in 2023. Yay! We're all excited about that, right? Walker, 276, 16 home runs in 117 games in that same season. Yeah, here we go. Two dudes. The idea was that these guys were going to become the part of the heart of the Cardinals order for years to come. And it seemed to be that idea was going to work and then everything was on point. But since then, it's been bad for both of them. Both have had to move positions. Gorman moving to second base because of Arenado. Walker to the outfield also because of Arenado playing third base, because Jordan Walker was a third baseman when they drafted him. But also because of the massive amount of athletic ability that Jordan Walker possesses. The dude can run like the wind for his size at 6'6", maybe 6'7" at this point in his life. He's got a cannon for an arm. We've seen that. People do not run on Jordan Walker. They don't. So it made sense to utilize those abilities, but there were always going to be growing pains involved with learning a new position at the big league level, which is what they asked of both of these guys. So perhaps that played a part in the struggles for each of them having to kind of switch around. But after hearing what hitting coach Brant Brown and manager Ali Marmol had to say about Jordan at this point in his career, at this point of the season, and the struggles that he's been going through, perhaps it's more than just a young kid going through the normal struggles. Maybe there's a little more to it. We're going to dissect what they had to say about Jordan Walker coming up next on Locked On Cardinals. Hey, Cardinal fans, are you still paying full price for gas? Stop leaving money behind. Makes no sense. Get real cash back every time you fill up with the free Upside app. Simply download the free Upside app in the App Store, or you can get it on Google Play right now and start earning cash at the pump today. You're driving your automobile. You need gas to make that thing work. Why would you leave money behind? Use our limited time promo code, which is SEASON, SEASON, and get an extra 25 cents per get back per gallon on your first fill up. And you can make up to $300 a year. $300 a year from buying the gas you already needed. What could you use an extra $300 towards? So a lot of stuff, I bet. And at first, I thought this was too good to be true, and it's not. It's totally legit. Real people getting paid just to make their daily commute. You can do it too. Why wouldn't you? And you can cash out anytime to put it in your bank account. You can put it to PayPal, e-gift cards for Amazon and other brands as well. Don't let this offer drive on by. Download the free Upside app now using my limited time promo code SEASON, SEASON, for a limited time 25 cents per gallon bonus. That's promo code SEASON. Offers vary by user and location. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions. Today's show will also be brought to you by Game Time. There's nothing like catching a baseball game live, the energy, the crowd, the chance to see your team in person. But actually getting tickets sometimes can be a pain in the rear end, right? That's the tough part. Dealing with queues, login screens, surprising fees. Takes the fun out of it, right? Don't do that. That's why you use Game Time. It's why I use Game Time for every sport. It's not just Cardinal baseball. It's for every sport. NFL, NBA, college sports. The app that gives the advantage back to the fans is Game Time. Fast, easy, backed by Game Time's guarantee. You always get 100% authentic tickets delivered on time and at the best price. Plus, all fees are included. They're all included, so the price you see is the price you pay. You're not going to say, oh, that seat's $15 and then find out it's 40-something because of all those silly fees people put on you. Not going to happen with Game Time. The app made it super simple. I love how you can see the exact view from the seat that you're purchasing before you buy. Again, fees are included. Know your total up front with no surprise fees at checkout. Download the Game Time app. Create an account. Use the code LOCKEDONMLB. LOCKEDON MLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's promo code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download Game Time today. Thanks for making Locked on Cardinals your first listen every day. Leave your comments on YouTube as well as on X anytime you want. TikTok as well. Get the comments on there. If you've watched Jordan Walker over the last couple of years, it's not like the kid's not trying new things, right? You've certainly noticed the adjustments he's made in the box, specifically with his stance, where he's been wide open when he first came up, and then he kind of closed it up, and then he was a little open again. Like, he keeps trying new things. The defensive play has gotten much better. It really has from where he once was, if you recall, man. We were like, oh boy, what are we doing with this? But things have gotten better. Again, he's young, and he was just learning the position. So progressing on the defensive side of things was something that I fully believed was going to happen. He's too good of an athlete not to be a serviceable outfielder. Offensive side of things, though, still have not consistently clicked for him. Now, he's had 2 IL stints this year, and maybe that plays a part in it. I don't want to use them as excuses, but when you're hurt and when you have things like an appendicitis issue and you can't swing a bat for a while, it's going to take some time to get things going again. So that certainly could play part of it. But even when he's healthy, we've still not seen him perform consistently the way he did in 2023 when he showed all that promise. And when he did deal with that appendicitis thing and he came back, remember, he came back and all of a sudden he was like a new guy. Like, he was hitting the snot out of the ball, red hot. Slash line of 315, 354, 38 over 20 games. He only had 1 home run, which is something that everybody's complained about, is that, he should be hitting more home runs. But 6 doubles, OPS near 800 at 797. I mean, are we really gonna, bitch and moan a little bit about that? The one thing I noticed, and, if you watch the telecast, was consistently pointed out by Chip Carey and the boys, was that, he was finally laying off those off-speed pitches low and away. That was the big problem. Sliders, sweepers, zoom. Low and away, and Jordan would go fishing all the time and would never come close to hitting him. And he was not doing that anymore. He had stopped chasing. I don't know if he was just seeing the ball better, but he was taking them. And when pitchers would come back in over the plate, he wasn't missing. He was able to shrink the zone because he wasn't chasing those pitches. And when you have a better idea where that ball's probably going to be, gives you the upper hand as a hitter. And yeah, sometimes they would get in his kitchen because when they wouldn't get him to chase, they try to bust him in. And sometimes, they'd get the best of him because he'd be looking away, trying to avoid that, and then they'd get in on his hands. But with the quick hands and the bat speed that he possesses, which if you go look at the stats are elite level, I like his chances of being able to turn on those, get his hips opened up and turn on those. And as long as you're not waving at pitches off the plate, it makes your job a whole lot easier. But after that, 20-game stretch, things started to go south again, and he's currently mired in another slump. Since August 11th, batting 127, 1 home run, 3 RBIs, 22 strikeouts, and 59 plate appearances. Frustrating. And according to John Denton at MLB.com, not only would the Cardinals like to see a strong finish to the season from their former top prospect, but they also want to see him be more receptive to making the changes needed to potentially make him more consistent at the plate. And quite frankly, the club's patience seems to be wearing thin with the 23-year-old outfielder's receptiveness to the changes they have asked him to make. Interesting, right? In Katie Woo's article, she has Jordan saying, quote, "The approach feels very different from how I like to hit. I've seen some success with it, like right after the All-Star break. This is a game of ups and downs, and recently it's been down, so I need to see what the difference is." Now, if you remember, in the early parts of Jordan's career, when they first called him up, even though I was one of the people that was very vocal about saying, I don't know why he's on this team already, straight to from Double-A to the pros, that didn't make any freaking sense at all to me. It felt rushed. It felt like they were doing it as a ploy to get more attention. I thought it was terrible. And he was up for a while, and he kept hitting the ball on the ground. And the Cardinals sent him down to work on launch angle. They wanted him to lift the ball more and take advantage of that untapped power they feel that he possesses. So they've been asking him to make adjustments since he got called up. I don't know what they were doing with him in the minor leagues. No clue. But since he became a Cardinal, up on the big league club, they've been asking him to tweak things. So it's been quite a while now, a couple of years. And it seems like to me that Jordan, he tries some things for a little bit, and when he doesn't find success right away, that he tends to revert back to what he used to do. I notice it more with the batting stance, where he'll do something for a little bit, and then all of a sudden, he's got his leg open again, like he used to when he first came up. And it just seems to me that he's got all his wires all crossed and things are all messed up. If things start to go bad, he just switches back to his old ways, thinking that he'll be that hitter again that he was when he was coming up. And that's not working. And then the staff feels like they got to start all over with him. And this is my opinion. This is just what I'm taking from these quotes and what I'm reading into it. Ollie said this about Jordan: "There's real work to be done, and there's a real level of dedication and consistency that needs to come with that. I need to see Jordan have a sense of urgency for the things that need to take place to give him consistent results. That goes with his moves toward the ball, his preparation in the cage, and his approach in games." Hitting coach Brant said something similar in an interview on KMOX, saying, "At some point in time, he's going to have to devote more focus on preparation. One thing with Walker is we've played a massive game of tennis, going back and forth with what he feels like he needs to do versus what he really needs to do. But for me, there's a really easy way out. He might have to be a little bit more uncomfortable to be able to achieve what we wanted to achieve." And in my opinion, the team, the coaches, the front office, as bad as some of the sounds, it doesn't feel like they've given up on him, but they just want that word that popped out to me was urgency, a little bit of urgency. They want and need Jordan to be successful. They need him to be a success story for the Cardinals to win. They need that from him. They need it from Gorman. They need it from Mason Wynn, McGreevy, Liberatore, any of these top picks that they made. They need them to be success stories, because that's what the Cardinals are banking on right now, is that the youth coming up is going to lead them into a better place in the next couple seasons. And to me, it sounds like a situation where, and again, my opinion, that Jordan Walker was the best player on his team in high school. He's been the best player on his team no matter where he played, probably all the way up through the minors. And when he finally got to the majors, doing things the way he did them, And then you started asking him to change things. And you were telling him it was for the better, but I don't think he was fully on board with that. I don't think he liked it. Like, why are you making me change? Like, I've been great. I'm the number 4 overall prospect in baseball. Why are you tinkering with me now? I've been really, really good. Why are we doing this? So there was probably a little bit of like pushback there. But he tried them. I don't think he liked it. And the changes didn't work all that well for him, as everyone thought they would, you know? And some of these things that they ask him to do, it takes time to get used to those things. And we're in a world right now where I need instant gratification, right? You know, I want this, I want it now. And if it doesn't work, everybody's upset about it, right? And anything in life. It's not just sports. And because these changes didn't work, and because he's like, well, I'll just go back to do what I used to do because that worked. It's going against everything the Cardinals are asking him to do, which is putting him in like a batting limbo right now. And he's trying to work his way out. And if there's one thing you've ever, learned in life, and maybe being 23, he hasn't learned this yet, but going backwards will not move you forwards. He either has to buy in to what they're telling him to do and go for it, or probably needs to go to another organization that doesn't want him to change anything and just let him do whatever the hell he wants to do. For me, it's something that he just has to keep pushing forward, to break on through on the other side to steal from the doors. He's always going to feel that tug to go back to what he used to do when he was successful, but it's been 3-4 years now, bro. It's a struggle, and it's leading to these terrible results. Again, in my opinion, that's what I feel like the inner turmoil is that's going on with Jordan Walker at this moment. I once had a pitching coach, just to relate to it, in college. My whole life as a pitcher, I threw from the far left side of the rubber, the first base side. That's where I was most comfortable. I had a 3/4, delivery, my arm angle, and it just worked out for me. College, I get to a school and they tell me that my coach is like, I want you to move over to the far right now, which, I don't know how big's the rubber. It's not that long, but it felt like the moon to me. Like I was over there like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. It screwed up my arm angles. My accuracy was off. I was a mess. And instead of trusting him, even though he's got decades of knowledge, and continuing to work towards perfecting what he was trying to teach me, as soon as I struggled, I would move back to where I was most comfortable. And eventually those results weren't any good either. And that's because he was trying to eventually this isn't going to work. You need to start doing this instead. And that's what happened to me. So from my personal experience, if Jordan doesn't trust the adjustments they're asking of him, then this is never going to work. It's not. He's got to buy all the way in, or it's not going to work. I hope for everyone's sake that it will, but this is the first time that I've started to feel that my confidence in what Jordan can be for this franchise, for this organization, is beginning to wane a little bit. To hear that there is a struggle still going on there 3 years into this thing of him buying all in and making the adjustments, at least that's what I'm getting out of this. That bothers me. That bothers me a little bit, and it makes me feel like a change of scenery. Maybe that's the best thing for everybody involved. So we'll see how it ends up. Let's hope none of this has to happen, and we just get a great final month out of Jordan Walker, and we'll all live happily ever after. But this isn't good. Doesn't sound good to me. Miles Mikolas shoves against one of the best lineups in baseball. What a bizarro world we live in. We'll discuss it next on Locked On Cardinals. Most people can't name all their financial accounts or even what they're worth, whether it's 401ks, properties, or investments. And when you don't have the full picture, you can end up leaving money on the table. That's why there is Monarch Money. It's an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life. It brings it together in one clean, easy-to-use interface. and you can do it on your laptop. You can do it on your phone. It's accessible. Monarch, it's built for people with busy lives, just like you and me. If you've put off organizing your finances, don't do it. Monarch is there for you. Monarch does the heavy lifting. You can link all your accounts in minutes, see clear data visuals, get smart categorization of your spending, finally feel in control of your money for once without ever touching a spreadsheet. Monarch can help you identify that maybe you aren't saving as much money as you thought you were, and it helps you notice an inefficient investment allocation and discover forgotten 401ks from past jobs, something you should look into. You can maximize investments, increase your savings rate, easily review finances with your partner and or financial advisor, keeping a clear view of your financial health week to week and long-term if you want to. So don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use the code, which is locked on MLB at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com and code locked on MLB. It's another big moment on Locked On. College football fans, Locked On and Fire TV present College Football Kickoff, your ultimate college football weekly preview. Drake Toll of Locked On Big 12 leads the conversation alongside two-time AP Coach of the Year Gary Patterson, former college star Jesse Holley, and Locked On's local experts. It's a college football preview only Locked On can do. Catch College Football Kickoff every Thursday throughout the season, only on Fire TV. All right, Cardinals win 2-1 on Tuesday night behind an excellent start by the Lizard King, Miles Mikolas. Yeah, buddy. Who I admittedly thought was going to get abused by the A's in this game. They were getting their two sluggers back in Nick Kurtz and Shea Langoliers on top of the rest of the lineup that just lit up Sonny Gray in the bullpen for 11 runs on Monday. And here comes Miles. He just laughs in the face of all of these young sluggers. He keeps swinging at the first pitch, and he shuts them down, allowing just 1 run on 5 hits. Over 6 innings. 4 of those were doubles, and a couple of them, if they had any air underneath them whatsoever, would have landed like 500 feet away from home plate. But they didn't. They didn't. And Miles walked away with his second win since the All-Star break, 7th on the year. Said he just wanted to keep the ball down in the zone because they like to swing and swing pretty early in the count. I just wanted to keep the ball on the ground, let my defense work. They're going to swing a lot and swing early, and I want them to swing at my pitches. And that's what they did. That's what they did. Mikolas took advantage of that. Young, eager, athletic hitters. Although he didn't record a single strikeout, which is crazy in this day and age, but he got them to hit the ball like guys. Whether through skill or luck, it worked out. Not sure how much impact rookie catcher Jimmy Crooks had behind the plate, but he and Miles, along with Matt Swanson and Jojo Romero, who pitched the final 3 innings, it worked pretty good. You love to see Jimmy Crooks doing well behind the dish. We know that he's a pretty good hitter, although he was 0 for on Tuesday night. But we know that his strongest thing is that he's going to be a really good hitter. He's also been a pretty good catcher behind the plate over his minor league career. So maybe the Cardinals got a little something here. But it was nice to see him work well with these guys. The offense didn't get much going, but Ivan Herrera had the big shot, the big 2-run blast in that 6th inning. After the A's went to their bullpen, it was Herrera's 13th of the season. Feels like he's got more than that. I don't know why, but it feels like he should have more than that. But that was a big one. Back-to-back nights that Ivan Herrera has gone yards, so you'll love to see that. A quick and efficient game under 2 hours. That's awesome, obviously. What wasn't awesome was that it took place in front of a new record low attendance for Busch Stadium. 17,002 paid. Obviously, we know not that many people were there. That's tough luck, man. It sucks seeing the fans not there, to see the stands as empty as it is. But your prerogative. If you don't want to go, I can't yell at you for that, man. It's your money. So, but a victory nonetheless. Rubber match is going to take place tonight. Matthew Liberatore gets the ball against fellow lefty Jeffrey Springs. The A's hit lefties pretty good. 259 batting average against lefties this year. 6th best batting average in baseball. Cardinals 11th at 249. I know we like to talk about how they struggle against lefties, but they're not quite as bad as we make them out to be. But that's what we're looking at tonight. So hopefully we get another good game and hopefully another Cardinals victory. That's what I'm hoping for. I predicted they'd win 2 or 3. I got them swapped in the first 2 games where I thought they would win game 1, lose game 2. We'll see what happens here in game 3 tonight. Enjoy the ball game. I'll be online talking about it throughout the entire game. So if you guys want to hop on to X and join me there, that would be great. Thanks for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen every day. If you haven't already, give us a follow on X at LO_Cardinals and at JD Sports Radio, TikTok, and Instagram at Locked On Cardinals. Like, subscribe on YouTube if you haven't already. You guys are the best fans in baseball for a reason. We'll see you next time on Locked On Cardinals.